Jaghatai Khan, also known as the Warhawk, was the Primarch of the 5th Legion of the Legione Astartes, the White Scars. While seen by many of his brothers as being little more than a barbaric savage, similar to the loud and boisterous Leman Russ of the Space Wolves Legion, in truth, Jaghatai Khan had an appreciation for art and culture, including poetry, painting, and calligraphy. Khan would be raised upon the world of Chagorus, also known as Mundus Planus, a feral world of vast, windswept plains and soaring mountain ranges. Before his reunion with the Emperor, the young Primarch would be adopted and raised by the chieftain of a small tribe named Ong Khan, and would eventually grow to become the tribe's mightiest and most gifted warrior. After his adoptive father's death, at the hands of a rival tribe known as the Kuried, Jaghatai Khan, in his grief and sorrow, would slaughter every member of the Kuried tribe, men, women, and children alike, before taking their leader's head as a trophy. The Primarch then vowed to end the conflicts between the tribes, and it was then that his notions of loyalty, honor, and sheer ruthlessness would be forged. In time, Jaghatai would conquer his world, uniting the warring tribes and cities under his banner, and destroying those who would not submit to his rule. Jaghatai would eventually become known as the Great Khan, the chieftain of chieftains to the tribes of Chagorus, following his long campaign of conquest. Not content with the prospect of living within a great empire, Jaghatai's forces would eventually begin to disperse, returning to a tribalistic way of life once more. During the events of the Horus Heresy, despite having little love for his Gene Father or many of his brothers, who in turn viewed the wayward Primarch as untrustworthy, as well as sharing strong bonds of friendship and brotherhood with the treasonous Warmaster Horus Lupercal, Jaghatai Khan and in turn the bulk of his legion would remain loyal to the Imperium. Jaghatai had sworn an oath to the Master of Mankind to fight for him and his Imperium, and although it broke his heart to turn against the one brother who truly loved and appreciated him, he would not sully his honor by breaking his vows. Jaghatai Khan and his legion would be one of those that fought upon Terra during the siege of the Imperial Palace, alongside Sanguinius of the Blood Angels and Rogel Dawn of the Imperial Fists. While his brothers followed their father as they boarded the Warmaster's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit, in the final hours of the battle, Jaghatai Khan would remain on Terra to continue coordinating its defences. Approximately 70 years after the events of the Horus Heresy, Jaghatai Khan and the warriors of the White Scars First Brotherhood, the chapter's unique term for battle company, vanished without a trace. His exact fate is unknown. So what could have happened to him? The exact circumstances regarding Jaghatai Khan's disappearance have been subject for debate. The most commonly accepted version of events detailing the Primarch's vanishing is that Jaghatai would lead the White Scars against a Drukhari raiding force that had been preying upon numerous worlds within close proximity to and including their homeworld of Chagorus in order to obtain fresh slaves. Jaghatai and the First Brotherhood allegedly pursued the leader of these Xenos through a webway gate, which then deactivated before any other battle brother of the White Scars could reach them. Seeing as Jaghatai Khan has not returned in almost 10,000 years, it would be logical to initially assume that the Primarch had in fact perished. While Jaghatai was a mighty warrior and a skilled swordsman with greater strength, speed, resilience, and cunning than even the mightiest warrior of the Adeptus Astartes, he was still but one man, and if assaulted by a vast horde of opponents, the Primarch could very well succumb to a figurative death by 1,000 cuts. This isn't entirely unprecedented, as Rogel Dawn, The Primarch of the Imperial Fists is rumoured to have perished in battle with the forces of the traitor legions during one of the earliest Black Crusades, with only his severed hand being recovered by his sons. However, there is some circumstantial evidence that points to the possibility that Jaghatai Khan does indeed still live. According to the novel Ashes of Prospero, Njal Stormcaller, the mightiest of all the rune priests within the Space Wolves chapter, explains to his chapter master, Logan Grimnar, of the visions he had received while attempting to discern the location of their missing Primarch, Leman Russ.
There are stirrings, tempest through which even I cannot gaze. Even so, I saw a sleeper entombed in rock, on the white storm that rode upon a chariot of lightning. A shadow rises to the call of the Allfather's messengers, a darkness that strikes from within.
The sleeper entombed in rock is a clear reference to the Primarch Lionel Johnson of the Dark Angels, who is confirmed to be slumbering within a hidden chamber at the heart of the rock, the Dark Angels' fortress monastery formed from the sole remaining fragment of their homeworld of Caliban. This also lends credence to the possibility that Jaghatai Khan is alive, as the white storm that Njal witnessed within his visions could very well be the White Scar's Primarch, whose legion is known for their predominantly white armour, as well as utilising a lightning bolt as their sigil. Since Jaghatai Khan had supposedly pursued a band of Drukhari into the Webway, there is always a strong possibility that the Primarch had been taken prisoner by the Xenos and brought back to the realm of Camorra, the dark city of the Drukhari. One of the more common features within Camorra are the numerous colosseums and fighting pits, each one commonly under the control of one of the many witch cults. These colosseums provide much amusement for the denizens of Camorra, as the Drukhari of the witch cults will test their combat skills against a variety of opponents that had been captured by one of the numerous raiding parties. These foes that are harvested for the witches can range from soldiers of the Astra Militarum, Orc Boys, Space Marines, and even massive tyrannid organisms such as the Carnifex or, in some cases, even Hive Tyrants. As such, a being such as a Primarch would be a fine prize indeed, and would draw much interest from the Drukhari, who would no doubt be enthralled by the skills of one of the legendary Monkai god princes. This would also seem to suggest that the remnants of the White Scar's First Brotherhood had either also been captured by the Drukhari, or perhaps have been slain to a man. While initially the likelihood of Jaghatai Khan being kept as a warrior slave for the amusement of the Drukhari does seem quite plausible, there are a few questions that need to be asked in this regard. If one of the Primarchs was indeed in Camorra, then why didn't they try to escape when the Dark Realm was invaded by the forces of the Imperium? During M35, thanks in part to the machinations of Asdrubal Vect, the Astartes of the Salamanders, Howling Griffins and Silver Skull chapters launched an all-out assault upon Camorra in order to rescue a group of salamanders that had been captured by the Drukhari. This assault led to the destruction of much of Camorra's nobility, allowing Vect to rise up and take control of the Dark Realm for himself. Seeing as this mass assault from the Adeptus Astartes drew the attention of almost the entirety of Camorra, whose denizens responded en masse in an attempt to repel this unexpected invasion, then one has to wonder if Jaghatai Khan was indeed within Camorra. Wouldn't he have attempted to escape during the ensuing confusion? Such a distraction could have been relatively easy for a Primarch, especially one as cunning as Jaghatai, to take advantage of, and the Primarch could have quite feasibly fought his way to rendezvous with Imperial forces during the conflict. although admittedly such a jailbreak may not have necessarily been successful. As such, given the sheer expanse of Commorragh itself, if Jaghatai Khan did manage to escape from the fighting pits of the witch cults, then it could admittedly be possible that Khan is lurking in the shadows of the city streets, avoiding detection and striking whenever he can. If Jaghatai Khan did indeed disappear into the depths of the webway, then that doesn't necessarily mean that the Primarch ended up in Commorragh. Instead, Jaghatai Khan and the First Brotherhood could instead be on a mission to purge the webway of demonic entities. During the events of the Horus Heresy, as detailed within the novel Path of Heaven, the White Scars fleet would be pursued as they made their way to Terra by the Death Guard Legion led by the Primarch Mortarion and a number of Emperor's children led by Commander Eidolon. As the White Scars attempted to find a safe path to the Imperial throne world, they would encounter the Dark Glass space station, which contained within it a device that was effectively the twin mechanism to the Golden Throne upon Terra. The Stormseer, Jaghatai Yasuge, would place himself upon the Dark Glass throne and would suffer from unimaginable pain due to the intensity of the throne's energies. However, Yasuge would also gain untold knowledge of the webway, which included not only the path needed for the White Scars to reach Terra, but also the fact that demonic entities known as Yaksha to the White Scars were flooding into the webway via the network's damaged nodal points, including the breach that was a result of the Thousand Suns Primarch, Magnus the Red, attempting to warn the Emperor of Horus's betrayal. Before the energies of the Dark Glass consumed him, the Stormseer would use his psychic abilities to transmit the route to Terra to the loyalist Thousand Sun, Revulavada, as well as a message to Jaghatai Khan, warning the Primarch of the dangers of the webway. Jaghatai would then use the last of his power to open up a path into the webway, allowing the White Scars to flee their pursuers before Yasuge finally perished. As the fleet traversed the webway, the Legion would be assaulted by the demonic legions of the Chaos God Slanesh. Jaghatai Khan would duel against the Keeper of Secrets, Manusha Rakshasi, as the demon attempted to kill Avada, who acted as the fleet's navigator through the webway. The demon would battle fiercely against the Primarch, inflicting grievous wounds upon him, but Jaghatai would eventually banish the demon back to the Immaterium after uttering the following:
"There is nowhere left to hide. We know you now. We shall hunt you in every plane of reality. We shall cleanse the void. Then we shall cleanse the warp."
With this in mind, it's possible that after pursuing the Drukhari through a webway gate, that Jaghatai Khan recognized his surroundings as being that of the webway itself. Jaghatai could then have remembered the words of Yasuge that warned him of the demonic creatures that dwelt within, as well as his own vow to purge the deep ways of chaotic taint. As such, Jaghatai Khan and those warriors who followed him into the webway could very well be fighting within an unknown corner of this vast subspace network, purging it of any demons or Xenos that they may encounter. In this regard, it's possible that the Farseer, Eldrad Ulthran, may have even visited Jaghatai Khan to, in effect, give the Primarch this particular quest. It has been documented that Eldrad has attempted to convince the Primarchs of the dangers of chaos in order to use them to battle against the ruinous powers. The Farseer and his associates in this regard have pleaded their case to 3 of the Primarchs: Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hands, Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children, and Vulcan of the Salamanders. Ferrus Manus would be given a series of visions which the Primarch would ignore. Fulgrim would be corrupted by the demonic Layer Blade. Vulcan, however, would heed Eldrad's visions, and would step through a webway portal opened by the Farseer which delivered him to the outskirts of the Imperial Palace. As detailed within the novel Old Earth, Eldrad would have a vision of future events that would take place long after the Horus Heresy and the interment of the Emperor into the Golden Throne. Within this vision, the webway gate upon Terra would open once more, and a vast demonic horde would pour through it like a tide, the warriors of the Adeptus Custodes desperately fighting to stand against it. This incursion would result in the apparent death of the Emperor and the destruction of the Golden Throne, leading to another warp rift opening upon Terra, which would cause more demonic entities to emerge from within, and in turn swarm over the entire world. Because of this particular vision, it's possible that Eldrad could have informed Jaghatai Khan of a similar such vision, and the Primarch, seeking to prevent such an event from happening, would have led his sons on a quest towards Terra's webway node, in order to reinforce its defences and to fight against any and all threats that may encroach upon the throne world of the Imperium. But all of these possibilities depend on Jaghatai Khan having truly vanished into the webway, which in itself is debated, due to the methods used by the White Scars in regards to their maintenance of their own historical records. While the 8th edition Space Marine Codex states that Jaghatai Khan vanished while pursuing an enemy, little else is stated in this regard. Index Astartes Volume 1, however, mentions that the story of Jaghatai Khan vanishing into the webway should not be taken at face value, and that the more likely version of events that occurred is that the Primarch's ship simply vanished while traversing the depths of warp space. This is due to the fact that the region of space that Jaghatai Khan was last seen within was said to be highly tumultuous and fraught with peril. The idea of Jaghatai Khan's ship being lost within the warp could arguably also be supported by the visions of Njal Stormcaller detailed earlier, as the White Storm and Chariot of Lightning the Rune Priest saw could very well have been a reference to the Primarch's ship and its full complement of warriors on board. In this regard, the Primarch's ship could very well have been this supposed chariot, and the White Scars legionaries on board would collectively be the White Storm, due to their white armour and lightning bolt sigil. Given how the passage of time flows within warp space, it's possible that if Jaghatai Khan did somehow become becalmed within the Immaterium, then to him and the First Brotherhood, only a few days, weeks, or months may have passed, while 10,000 years could have passed in the material realm. This could then mean that if the White Scars can find their way back into real space, then Jaghatai Khan would certainly have many questions for his brother, the newly appointed Lord Commander of the Imperium, Rabute Gilliman. What do you think happened to Jaghatai Khan? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.